Oh, hey there. As you can see, I'm on Factory doing the delivery from the past quest for Prapor. Yeah, so I have to deliver that message. But you know what? It's actually kind of quiet right now in this raid. And I've always been curious, what exactly is the message he's trying to send? You know what? I think we'll take a peek right now, just because it's so quiet and there's no PMCs around. Let's see what he's got. Huh. Oh no. It says here, Tarkov's planning to release in 1.0 this November? What? That's concerning, to say the least. Alright, so I got off the main floor Factory and tucked myself into this room so we can talk about how Tarkov ain't ready for 1.0. Let's get into it. First, cheating. Cheating, it's a big one. First and foremost, Tarkov has a massive cheating problem. For years, this has been a huge issue in the game, and it's actually driven probably thousands of players away from the game permanently. We're talking about aimbot, ESP, being able to track other players' items and seeing exactly what they have in their inventories, from key quest items to high-value items, so these hackers can actually just pick and choose who they want to kill to take their stuff because they can already see it. You know, there's lag switches, there's flying, there's a bunch of hacks that still exist in this game, and have been for a very long time.
Yo, I gotta go kill a cheater, right?
Yeah, I'm just gonna try and get out my quest item.
Yeah, I know. I only kill cheaters.
Needless to say, the community that still does play Tarkov is very frustrated with the hacking. So much so that when BSG added in the PvE mode, initially with the Unheard edition, but then after massive community pushback, released it to all EOD or Edge of Darkness owners. Either way, with the advent of PvE, so many players from PvP have just moved over there that PvP has now lost the lion's share of players, and all that's left is really just sweaty tryhards and hackers. So they've created themselves an even bigger issue now, all stemming from the hacking that has plagued PvP for years. And I mean, to BSG's credit, they do try to stop the hacking. I mean, they have ban waves and they use BattleEye anti-cheat, but these are not enough to stem the issue. I mean, the ban waves don't come often enough, and BattleEye simply can just be skirted by these hacks, so that doesn't really help either. Essentially, none of the efforts BSG does to try to stop hacking is enough. It's not surgical enough, and it doesn't happen often enough to stem hackers completely. BSG simply doesn't have the infrastructure to stop players from buying cheap accounts in bulk off a third-party site. This is the problem, right? Like, look at this. This is like a full-on product. Yeah, so I don't condone hacking. Don't do this. This is bad. It censors so you can't see anything because hacking is bad. Don't hack in Tarkov. I told you so. Don't do it. Nope, don't do it. But yeah, so once they do that, they buy their game from a third-party company, cheap. They just buy some hacks, and then they go and they play. And if they get banned, there's always another account they can just reuse, right? So, with that being said, you'd think BSG would just ban all these bulk accounts and be done with it. But the biggest problem with this is actually trying to root out the cheaters and the legitimate players. A lot of these cheats are client-side opposed to server-side, so these hackers can see you through walls and whatnot, but they play reserved. You know, they're not stupid. They play reserved. They play sneaky. They try to trick BSG and other players into thinking they're legit, right? So a player may have hacks, but they're still being sneaky, right? They're still moving around. They're not just killing everyone in the lobby instantly. They're sneaking around. They're trying to do their quests. And if something is convenient for them, so say I pick up like a LEDX, and that's a high ticket item, right? Maybe that hacker sees that I picked up a LEDX and he needs it for a quest. That's when they'll turn on the cheats, and that's when they'll use it on me and then take it, right? But they try to keep it sneaky. They try to keep their stats, their profile stats, at a realistic level as to not draw suspicion, right? Because if they were just using their hacks over and over again and they were getting, 6,000 kills and like 3 deaths, they would get flagged and banned, right? So these cheaters are sneaky. So you may be asking, why do people even bother hacking in this game at all, right? I mean, you'd think, oh, that gets rid of all the fun, all the tension of the game, and I agree. But the biggest problem with this is something called RMT, which is real money trading. Since Tarkov is so popular, and it has been for a long time, players actually use these hacks to farm high-tier loot, again, level up their characters, their quests and stuff to create kind of rich accounts, right? So like, think like RuneScape, you can level up your skills, and you're all like, say you have like wood cutting, friggin' fishing, all this level 99. That's a high tier account, right? Well, some people just buy these accounts. They don't want to play the game from the start. They just want to buy these finished accounts, right? So these hackers, they buy these accounts in bulk, hack, build them up so they're, you know, rich accounts, and they have high levels, all this money, all the items and whatnot, right? And then they sell it to these people who want to buy them for cash.
Guess what? I also do not condone RMT or any real money trading in any game whatsoever. Do not do this. Bad, don't do this. I told you so, don't do it!
Like, you can literally see, right? Like, these are just people all selling accounts. They may not all be hackers per se, but I mean, I'm willing to bet a lot of them are. Here's another one. Look at this. This is a $3,908 account. Let's see. EOD. 3,800 hours. 3rd prestige ready. $150 million stash. 27 bitcoins plus syringes. Of course people are buying hacks if it can help them easily obtain a $3,000 account to sell for real money. This is the problem with RMT. And believe it or not, there's a massive demand for these Tarkov accounts. So hacking actually has an end goal here. It's almost like it's like a real job in a way. So these hackers go in and they make real profits by selling these hacked accounts. So I mean, that's the motivation for all these people to hack, right? So I mean, that makes up a big reason why people do hack in this game, is because they're doing RMT or real money trading with these accounts, right? And that plagues the gameplay for everyone else. A YouTuber by the name of Goat did a really good expose or coverage on the hacking problem in Tarkov. He did a great job kind of shining how common hacks are and how many people in any given lobby are hacking, right? With the wiggle. I highly suggest you check it out. He does a great job talking about how bad the hacking is in this game. But yeah, I mean, people have been complaining about hacks in this game for a very long time, but it took a YouTuber having to buy hacks and showing it off to the world for BSG to actually do something about it. But yeah, I mean, regardless, the underlying problem of hacks still remains, and that is going to be a massive issue in 1.0 when all these new players hop into the game for the first time and they get absolutely murked by legit veteran players and hackers, right? They're gonna have very little fun getting head-eyed every raid. BSG really needs to get a handle on this, and they need to fix it before this November, apparently, or they're gonna be in for a world of hurt and lots of negative Steam reviews. All right, it's getting too hot in here. I got to unequip my balaclava. So the second big problem is the servers, right? And the desync and the latency issues in them. Tarkov's netcode and stability has been a mess for years. A lot of the times when you're in a gunfight with another player, or even AI, you'll be standing behind cover on your screen and you'll think you're safe, and then all of a sudden you'll die out of the blue. And what it really is that there's a delay between the client, what you're seeing, and the server, what the other players are seeing as well. So your positioning isn't up to date. It's not accurate. I mean, like, take a look at this footage. This guy is well behind the wall, yet he still gets domed by the dude down the hallway. And that's because on his screen, he was behind cover, but on the server, it was too slow to read it, and he was still out in the open for that guy. And that type of non-snappy gameplay in such a high-risk, high-reward setting can create very frustrating gunfights where it feels like it's just a coin toss if you win or not, right? It's just down to luck, not skill, because of the server issues. This tends to happen when the server tick rate gets low or your packet loss increases. And then the connection between the server and you, the clients, gets muddled, right? And if you know BSG, their servers are not great. They have lots of problems with their servers. You can DC from raids. You have trouble logging into raids. Loading into raids takes a very long time.
Tired of this shit.
Like upwards of 20 minutes. And then, of course, there's the lag and whatnot, right? But this particular problem is caused by the server and packet loss. That's a huge problem for Tarkov. Again, it is a high-risk, high-reward game. You have these really expensive kits. You're doing quests that take 40 minutes plus, not even counting transits, to do. So when you get into a gunfight, which is 90% of the game, you want stable servers. You want it to read properly where you are and where your enemies are, right? The last thing you want to do is die because the server didn't read what you were doing properly. If I'm in a gunfight, right, and I'm like on the second part of a quest and I've already spent an hour getting there, and then I run behind cover to, hide from a grenade, and then I die because on the server's end, I was actually out in the open, that's ridiculous. And that's going to be very visible and evident to new players, and it's going to become very frustrating. I mean, I can see it already. Reddit, Twitter, everything's going to explode with this, right? So yeah, so Tarkov really needs to get a handle on their servers. They need to get a new server provider or something more stable, more servers probably, and they need to really fix their netcode and maybe even try to find ways to make sure client side and server side authorities are linked instead of this weird delayed guessing game that it is currently. Here's another big one: visuals, pop-in, and sound design. Let's be honest, Tarkov is not exactly a pretty game, especially for 2025. I mean, it's running on the Unity engine, right? So there's already inherent issues there. But when you play Tarkov, you notice there's frequent pop-ins. Object LOD, or level of distance, is variable. So you'll see like boxes and like crates and stuff literally spawn in front of you as you get into the loading range. There's also messy lighting glitches where light shafts will cut and glitch through windows, and they make no sense. Sometimes they'll be way too dark, they'll be way too light, and things like lights through window blinds will flicker. Not only does this make the game look bad, they affect gameplay, right? So not only are they distracting when you're trying to survive in a raid, and you're seeing movement from lights when it should be, you're eyeing for movement from other players and threats, right? You're getting it with random lighting glitches and items appearing out of nowhere. But there's another big issue with this, and that's that players in AI can actually be affected by LOD as well, depending on your graphic settings. So you might actually not even see players out there in front of you because they're outside your LOD distance. Like, look here, right there on the shoreline, there's actually two PMCs. You can't see them, but he's going to change his settings, and he decreases his LOD quality and his FOV, then all of a sudden, boom, he can see the two PMCs on the shore. So they can kill you, they can shoot you and kill you without you ever even seeing them. On top of that, because items are LOD focused, like assets in the game, you might actually see a player out in the open on your screen from a distance, like say he's in a train car. You might see him sitting there and you shoot at him, but it's not killing him, right? And that's because you don't know, you can't see it because you're too far away, but he's actually behind a wall, or he's behind an object that's full cover. You can't hit him because he's behind this object, but you can't see the object he's hiding behind because you're not in the LOD range. So this creates this weird discrepancy where you're shooting at a guy and you think you're hitting him, but you're actually just hitting this invisible cover.
Oh shit. Oh.
How is he?
So there's a giant concrete block there that dude's hiding behind. You just can't see it.
Where is
What? On the road?
What's happening?
My bullets won't go into him? Are you seeing this?
Yeah.
The best part is that it somehow works the other way too. Like in this clip, we'll see the sniper wallbang two PMCs across the map through walls that he otherwise really shouldn't have been able to kill these guys through. So it's a mess all around.
Bro, they're just staying in there.
Yeah, but they're not in the window. I think
Killed
they're
one.
not in the window.
Bro. Which one did you drop? Killed the second one.
And that's you can't have that in a game like this. That LOD issue is a massive problem, right? Because for the other player, he doesn't understand how he's getting shot at because he thinks he's behind cover. And from your perspective, you're shooting at him, but you're not killing him, even though it looks like he's in the open. Tarkov is supposed to be this really high-risk game. It's very tight. And when you have things like this, these terrible visual bugs and LOD graphics renderings, it creates such a bad taste in people's mouths. Like, who's going to want to spend all this time in raids when you deal with that? Like, that can get you killed, right? And then you'll have to restart. That's still a problem today. The LOD is not great. The lighting is not great. And the game itself is not very pretty, right? So if BSG takes some time to maybe fix some of these issues and kind of goes into it and fix the LOD and the lighting, that would be great. But I believe that's quite a big undertaking, and I don't really expect that to be done by November. And then, I mean, on top of the poor visuals, the sound design in this game has been infamously bad. It's been a problem for a very long time. You've got footsteps that sound like they're right next to you when they're not. You can't really tell vertical audio spacing. Gunfire, like just machine gun fire and other gunfire, can frequently cut out on you. So you'll be hearing a machine gun, like, and then all of a sudden it'll cut out on you for no reason. There's also instances of silent gunfire where just gunfire is completely quiet. In a game where sound is so important, you need to be able to know where people are, and you need to be able to understand where gunfire is. And when it's cutting out and things are louder than they should be and people are further away than you thought, but actually they sound closer or vice versa, it creates this weird jumbled experience where no one really knows what to do, and then they just resort to sitting still and just kind of waiting for the other person to make a move, otherwise known as ratting. And you can see this in the game. The pacing is very, very slow now, especially with the added momentum, where the heavier you are, the slower and more sluggish your guy moves. Either way, it makes for a slow game now, and it really incentivizes ratting opposed to actually playing the game and moving around and getting your stuff done and creating engaging gunfights. So yeah, in summary, the game has lots of visual issues that take away from the experience and makes it harder to spot players. And it also creates a weird disconnect in gunfights where you think you're hitting people, but you're not, and vice versa. On top of that, the sound design has been very hard to get a hold of, and it creates this weird disconnect with where people are and what you should be doing to move, right? And all of this kind of encompasses and incentivizes sitting around and ratting. And, you know, even from outside of a gameplay perspective, it's just bad quality. Like when these new players come in November, and then they start hearing weird gunfire cuts and sound mismatches and things like that, it's going to turn them off from playing the game. They're going to be all over the internet like, hey, why is this sound so broken, right? And it's something BSG's been trying to fix. I mean, most recently they've got the spatial footstep audio okay, but it's still not great. And they need to really fix this and polish, just do general polish on the visuals and audio of the game if they don't want a swarm of negative reviews. Here's another one. AI behavior. This one's great. So the AI in Tarkov are straight up broken. They're just not, they don't act like humans do. They never have, and I don't think they ever will at this point. AI go from, you know, being pretty much completely useless, where they just stand there friggin' brain dead, to the best shot you'll ever see, John Wick mode, instant headshot, you're dead. Right? There's very little consistency between them. It's not even just their aim, though. Like, the way the AI are coded is they will actually track your player through walls sometimes. If you aim at them from a faraway distance, like 200 meters, they know you're aiming at them. They don't just sit there and have no way to know. Like, if they aim at you, you can see them literally turn and look at where you're aiming from, even though there's no reason they should.
It'd be so funny if I had sent my Labyrinth card.
Yeah. I was looking at Henry Miller's surfing and I forgot I have to click escape when I don't want to. Was looking at Henry Miller's surfing and I forgot I have to click escape when I don't want to.
They can throw grenades way too accurately at you. What the fuck? I mean, really, it comes down to the fact that it doesn't feel like you're fighting people. It feels like you're fighting bots with cheats a lot of the time. And they're really not that fun to fight. Lots on the line when you play this game. And if you come against a scav who's going to instantly tap you from 100 meters away through a bush...
Are you fucking with me? Is it the longest range scav shots ever? That's like 500 meters.
Well, that's annoying. So, what I'm pretty much trying to say here is BSG needs to work on their AI. They need AI with realistic limits. They need, their vision blocked by cover. They need to stop knowing where you are secretly at all times. They need to actually use hearing range, move around and roam more realistically. They need human-like reaction times and less accurate aim when you're fighting them a lot of the times, especially for the raiders and the higher tier enemies like that. And I know it's possible because if you look at SPT, which is single-player Tarkov, there's a bunch of mods that rehaul AI, like the Sane SAIN mod creates super realistic AI structures and functions, and then there's even mods like questing bots, which will actually make the AI go and do the same quests as you, right? So it's entirely possible to make realistic and passable AI. BSG has just yet to do it properly, and new players are going to find this especially annoying when they come across raiders or things like that, and then they get insta-tapped out of nowhere. So again, if they have this fixed by November, I'll be very surprised.
But yeah, with all the points I just covered, I think it's pretty obvious Tarkov is not 1.0 ready, especially for this year. Maybe, I mean, who knows though? Maybe BSG's cooking up some big miracle patch that'll fix all the problems I covered. But if you know BSG, you know that's probably unlikely. Anyways, if you enjoyed this vid, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, check out my other videos, because I gotta go, I gotta extract. Oh yeah, anyway, see you later. Oh no, you guys hear that? PMCs are coming. Oh god, I gotta get out of here.
There they are, fuckers!
Oh no!